pregnancy update. If you saw my last video, I'm gonna share as much as I feel comfortable sharing. So to start off, yesterday was my birthday. I didn't really have too much planned. I went and did a little bit of shopping, and by a little bit of shopping, I mean I went to 2 different places because I needed to get Paisley the rest of her 25 days of Christmas outfits, and then came home, chilled, went to my in-laws. My mother-in-law cooked for me, and then when we got home, I want to say we got home around 8 o'clock or so, a little bit before 8, I don't know. I was uncomfortable, but I didn't think anything of it because it's very typical for me to be uncomfortable by the end of the day, especially on the weekends, and given how heavy Paisley is, it was a little bit more uncomfortable than usual. But got in the bathtub and then I took a shower because the hot water really helped a lot, and then I went to bed a few hours later, and I woke up to pee at 2 something, and it's just an anxiety thing for me to check the toilet after I've used the bathroom, having had a miscarriage and then also my placental abruption with Paisley where I started bleeding. And so I turned on my flashlight and I saw blood, and woke my fiance up. We went to go drop the dogs and Paisley off with his parents and went to labor and delivery. Apparently I was having contractions as well, which now I know they're contractions, and I'm still having some right now. They're very inconsistent. I couldn't tell you how far apart or how long they're lasting because I'm not really timing them. They monitored me for a couple hours, did an NST. Cove is fine. She was moving just fine. Her heartbeat was fine. She kept kicking the monitors at some point. The nurse did say that she thinks my contractions are from dehydration, so got my cup over there trying to stay hydrated. And I'm just resting for now because I'm aside from the contractions, I'm just uncomfortable because I had to check my cervix twice to make sure I wasn't progressing. Okay, now that I'm a little bit more perky than I was earlier, I say perky because I've actually gotten some sleep since then, because this all happened at 2 o'clock in the morning, and then we didn't get home until I want to say 7, because we had to drop the dogs and Paisley off at my in-laws, so got to the hospital 3 something, monitored until 5 something. After we left the hospital, had to get gas before we went and picked up the kids. So I'm gonna go a little bit more into depth as to why they think that I was bleeding. So I did have intercourse, and I know that can irritate your cervix and cause bleeding because I've had it happen before. But the reason why I was concerned and went in is because with any bleeding you want to go in, but the thing is I didn't have this bleeding and uncomfortableness until 10 hours later. I guess it's still normal because that's what they told me. They said it was normal, and that's what they think the reason for my bleeding was, but I don't know, it's just weird that all of that wouldn't happen until so many hours later. And given my history is another reason why they were concerned and wanted to monitor me, because first of all, with Paisley, I had COVID and I had my placental abruption, which caused bleeding, and then my miscarriage in January, obviously. So given my history, they wanted to make sure that I wasn't having another abruption. I don't know, I'm just wondering if anybody else has any insight and feels like it's normal or not. Like, obviously, like, I'm not a doctor. People on here, for the most part, are not doctors, but I don't know. It's just a weird situation. And like I said, I'm not actively bleeding anymore, which is another reason why they sent me home, because it's just old blood now, and they said to obviously come back if, like, I start having, bright red blood, because that indicates new blood, fresh blood. I'm like so traumatized from like my birth trauma with Paisley, and then my miscarriage in January. And like, I want more kids, I really do, but like, all I could think of on the way to the hospital is like, I don't know if I can go through this trauma and these scares again. I'm gonna do one more video about this right now, but I'm not timing like all of my contractions just because I forget. And like I said, they're very inconsistent. So, and also like, this is my first time experiencing contractions. So like, it is very painful for me. Shout out to all you moms that have gone through it, because experiencing these contractions now and then the contractions that I had when I had my miscarriage, like, I don't think I ever want to go into labor and have a baby vaginally. So like I said, this isn't all of them that I've experienced, just because I like forget to log it, and like I said, very inconsistent. If things do change and I do have to go back in tonight or, whenever, like, that's fine. I'm gonna try to be a little bit more prepared. Like, I have our hospital bags packed and I brought those with us, but I was in such a rush that like, we didn't even put the car seat in. Like, we just had Paisley's convertible car seat in there, which I think it starts at like 5 pounds. So like, she technically could have rode in that, but I would just prefer to install the infant car seat, because I know that some hospitals and like the nurses are like weird if you like bring a convertible. And like, we don't have her bed set up either. Like, I set it up that one day just to like see everything put together. But like, we're just gonna set it up the night before, just because, like, yeah. But I think we are going to get all those things in place tonight. Just get her bed up so that way that it's up just in case, so we don't have to do it last minute, and then put her car seat in tonight, so that way, next time, if there's a next time, hopefully not, we can just grab our bags and go straight to the hospital and not have to worry about that.